hope you've had some time to explore the Apple loops in the upper right hand corner of GarageBand, because today we're going to add some of these Apple loops to our loop sets. Okay? So, the first thing you need to remember, going way back to the beginning when we first started with with GarageBand, is whenever there's a plus symbol, that means you can add something. I'm going to go and do that right now. I'm going to go over to the far left portion of my screen. That's where all of my instruments are pictured. Okay? So as you can see, there's some synthesizers, there's some beat mashers over there within dubstep. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go to that file and I'm going to practice a couple swipes so that you can see what we're going to do. The less important of the two swipes that we're going to do is this. Do you see that there's a little mini bar, a slight line in the middle of this screen over here? As I move it up and down on the far left, you see how that line stays in the middle? If I take that line and I slide it towards the center, this is a hidden menu that allows me to boost the different sounds or to even completely mute the sounds. Now, if you see over here on the left, if I tap like Jasper at the top and I hit that blue button, that mutes it, so I cannot hear that one anymore. You don't want to play around with this function too much, but do you notice the dots over here? These are volume settings. I can adjust the volume, bringing it lower and higher. This is going to be important a little bit later on today. I'm going to swipe it back by finding that very, very narrow little line near the center of the screen and pulling it back. Oops, I missed it there. Nope, missed it there. Good, I pulled it back. Now, the other important thing is you need to swipe up and down to get down to the plus symbol at the bottom. Notice if you swipe over here, it activates a loop. You don't want to swipe in the loop segment of the screen, but you just want to swipe along this black instrument bar. And when I swipe down, do you notice the plus symbol at the very bottom? Now, I can either add a track here by adding an instrument and recording my own loops, which I'm going to show you guys in a later lesson, or you can add in very quickly, very easily, Apple loops. Now, the way you want to do that is you want to identify what type of loop you want to add to what type of loop track. Now, I might have gone way over your head with that, but think about what we've been talking about. We've been talking about melodic loop sounds like this one. And we've been talking about rhythmic loop tracks like this one. Today we're going to take a sound, an Apple loop that you have discovered that you like, and add a melodic loop sound to a rhythmic track, and we're going to add a rhythmic track loop sound to a melodic track. So we all know that on dubstep, track number 2 is a melody. I don't want to add another melody to that one, because if I add a melody, it's going to be two competing forces. So listen to what happens. Now, what if I were to add a melody sound to that? I'm going to go into my instruments in my Apple loops, and I'm going to find that Woodwind's Jazz Hustle Saxophone number 1, and I'm going to put it in the box underneath. So to do this, to add an Apple loop sound, I'm going to push down and hold the little blue sound symbol next to the type of sound that I want. And notice how it's blinking. I'm going to drop it down and drag it. I haven't lifted my finger off of it. I'm going to put it in the box where I want it to live. So now, listen to what happens whenever I play track number 2. Now, do you notice that doesn't quite sound as good? Why? Because the saxophone is battling the normal melody of the song. So I don't want to keep that. And either what I can do, I can hit the back arrow button at the top of the screen, or I can I'm going to tap the instrument here, and I'm going to delete the entire instrument row. So goodbye, saxophone. Let's go back and let's add another type of instrument to this that perhaps will work better. So this is what it sounds like before. okay? I'm going to add my African Rain Kahihi shaker. So I'm going to go back to my main instrument here. I'm going to go into shaker. I'm going to drag African Rain Kahihi down in here. Now listen to how this changes the effect of the sound. This is what it sounded like with it. Do you hear how by adding just that little bit of rhythmic sound to a melodic rhythm or melodic loop set, I've spiced it up a little bit? I'm going to go and do the same thing with track number 6 now down here. I'm going to swipe down on my instrument sidebar. See the plus symbol just migrated a little further south. Now I'm going to go down to box number 6 in that plus symbol here. I'm going to tap on that. And notice how it gives me the option of loops. I'm going to tap on loops. We'll add instruments at a later date, but for now I'm going to hit a loop. I'm going to go back into my loops. I'm going to find that jazz saxophone sound that I liked before. I'm going to drag that in there. Drag it into the same one. Remember, I need to hit row number 6. And now let's listen to my new sound here. Formerly a rhythm sound. This is what it normally sounded like. Here's my new version. Now that may not be very dubstep-esque in how we're creating the soundscape, but what I want you to do is I want you to take one rhythm sound, add it to a melodic theme or a melodic set, add one melodic loop, and add it to a rhythmic track, and just explore different ways that you can manipulate the sound by editing and adding your own. Have fun with that. We'll be exploring it even further.